Hey, Alex from Stoic Conditioning, and I'm joined by Zach from Reptilia. We're going to be talking about their mount and their mounting systems and best practices. So can you introduce the mount and kind of talk through some of its
Yeah,
characteristics?
yeah, definitely. So this mounting system, the AUS, originated out of this project and the need for it. Basically, the way it's set up, one of the big benefits is very low profile, lightweight, but it also has a lot of key features to it that allow you to add accessories as you need to. Um, One of those, I'll start with that. One of the benefits, like you can see here, obviously not necessarily a part of this project, but you can add a bubble level, and we have other accessories like 45 offset for red dots, things like that, that allow you to customize it for whatever need that you have for different mission sets, things like that. Um, the other nice thing about this too is that we also offer, which was a part of this project, was a top-mounted mounting system for red dots,
Mm.
specifically the Acro P2, part of this project. Um, Everything is included in this mount for this specific project. I think that's really kind of the key characteristics, minus the specific IR coding that was requested for this project. Um, so I think that's really about it on that.
Next question would be like, can you demonstrate best practices on how to mount and how to use this ecosystem?
Yes, yeah, not a problem. So basically, to mount this system, loosen both the front screw using a T25. You want to loosen these up enough so that way, obviously this is spring loaded, just so that way you can rotate it over top of the pig system. So you can see right now I don't have basically these far enough open, so we're not sitting down all the way. So loosen up just enough so you can slip it, rotate it over top, and set it down flat. Be careful not to loosen the screw all the way because it is not captured. This piece is not captured along with the spring, so you can completely lose those. Um, so once you have it in place, you want to make sure you push the optic forward in the pick system. And then on this side here, I want to tighten this up, just snug it for the moment. Just like that. And if you look here on the side of the mount, it specifies what you need to torque those screws to. So on this one here, we're looking at, just to double check it, we're looking at 45 inch-pounds. I don't have a torque wrench currently, but you will take a torque wrench, set it at 45 inch-pounds, and then torque it to that spec. From that point, unfortunately, I don't have an optic sitting here. Set your optic in it. Obviously, you want to level it and get it set up. The optic that's actually with this particular program, thankfully has, I can show it as an example, basically has lines on it to help you set it in a level position. I would still recommend you obviously pop the turret off, because we don't know how level that is. Try to set a level on here. Make sure the gun is obviously level. Then go ahead, torque down or snug down the screws first. Move this out of the way. Using a T15, set this over top of the optic for both the front and back, and then snug these down. And what you want to do is you want to do a cross or X pattern, basically. So you can see there. Down is you want this gap that you see here. I'm exaggerating this right now, but you want this gap on both sides to be relatively equal to each other, because you want that clamping force to be symmetric. So make sure that's all set up correctly. Make sure your gaps are close to being the same, and then you're going to torque these down to the specified torque with a torque wrench. And again, just to double check, it is listed, or dimension is listed on the side, and that would be 15 inch-pounds for the actual rings themselves. That also is it would be the exact same thing for the red dot mount at the top. So nothing changes along that. It is exactly the same.
Awesome. Awesome, dude. So you mentioned the level that can be mounted. What are the other kind of things that we can use with the issued mount? You know, what other things could we use with that?
Okay, yeah. So as far as this project in particular, obviously you have the Acro P2 that's being utilized, and then also the Delta Point Pro that you can mount on the top.
Hmm.
So some of the other things with these pockets on either side, we can put obviously the bubble level on there we previously mentioned, um, or you can do 45-degree offset for Delta Point Pros, RMRs, along with the Acro P2 mounting system. So basically, you can do reversible left or right hand side
Yeah.
depending on what you need, what you like. If you're left hand, right-handed shooter, that is one of the great benefits about this. In addition to that, besides just the top mounted red dots, is we also have 45-degree offset rings
Mm.
for other red dot optics. Um, what's nice about that, again, depending on setup, you can have a 45-degree offset that sits higher, or you can mount it in the lower pockets to have it sit lower.
Hmm.
We also have diving boards, so for guys that are using laser rangefinders, things like that, you can mount it to the front rings here, and then mount that laser rangefinder to that diving board.
Awesome.
One of the things we have coming out this year as well, not I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but MDT makes a electronic leveling system that will come out to be able to mount that to this lower portion of these pockets as well. It's a very simple, straightforward, and I'll show you on this rifle. Obviously, the bubble level, all you require is 2 screws. They come with whatever accessory you purchase, and then you can just attach it that way and torque this down.
Talk us through the height of the mount and why you've specifically chosen this height, and then perhaps like expand on your other mounts and why you've chosen their specific heights and what that means for like an end user.
Yes, no problem. So for this specific project, obviously what was chosen is a 154 mount, and then doing a red top mounted red dot on there. Reason why this is mainly chosen is so that way, obviously, you're looking through the magnified optic and get a better cheek weld. That allows for even more accurate shots, things like that. And then also with the top mounted red dot, when you're in a heads up position, you still get a little bit of a cheek weld off the most stocks. As you start to go higher mounts, especially with the magnified optic and the top mounted red dot, the further away that red dot gets, and some guys don't have draft necks, so it's hard for them to get up in that position to look through the red dot.
Yeah.
A good thing about the 154 and putting the red dot on the top, I personally run this almost exact same setup on my personal rifle. It allows you to passively aim through nods and still maintain that heads up position and have some form of contact with the butt stock itself. Um, Getting in, we also offer a 1.7 mount and then a 1.93 mount for the magnified optics. Getting into that again allows you more of a heads-up position, but you do lose that cheek weld sometimes on a stock. A lot of guys out there will, as an example, Magpul CTR, they'll go out and find cheek risers that will attach aftermarket to those to give them a better cheek weld. I think that's the basics on that.
Awesome.
So.
Can you go through some pre-firing checks that you'd recommend for our guys to use?
Yeah, I mean, I would say as far as just utilizing the torque wrench again, set it to the proper torque for each one of these screws and go through and verify that all of those are properly torqued. Another great thing that I've picked up doing is actually taking a paint marker or even permanent marker, and then doing we call it like a timing mark for those that may not be familiar, but just basically doing a slash between the screw and then onto the optic mount itself, so that way you can see during firing things like that, if things become loose, you can identify that very quickly.
Yeah.
Obviously, for signature, you may not want to see that in certain places. So just use your discretion however they want to do that, but it is a great thing to do, so that way if you in the field, you can look at it and see that, it is failing.
Awesome, man. So thank you so much for going through that. So can you talk to us a little bit about the QD socket mount and why you've gone with that as well?
Yes. So this was another item that was selected for this particular project. So basically what this was designed for was wanted something very low profile, the end user did, that was very snag free and pulled the QD closer to the rail. So you can obviously see how very low profile this is and how it doesn't take up much room, and also it's kind of snag free. So if anything hits it, you're not really going to rip it out of the rail or anything like that. One of the other benefits is obviously it kind of holds the QD in place and keeps it from wanting to rotate out of position. And those are probably the main key features to this particular product.
Awesome. Can you run through some maintenance tips for the mount as well?
Yeah, I mean, as far as it goes, it's pretty straightforward. There really isn't a whole lot of maintenance that I can see. One of the bigger things is, obviously just, again, making sure none of those screws are coming loose on you, constantly checking those every so often. And again, putting those timing marks on there gives you that visual indicator if something does become loose.
Yeah.
That's, I think, really about it.
Nice.
So,
So a final question would
Yep.
be, how to identify any faults quickly and how to remedy them as well?
look at, obviously look over the mount, make sure there's nothing that's cracked or, an area that might be worn, there's missing paint, anything like that. Again, as you use the mounts in the optic system, if you start to see any type of cracking, especially in the rings, like that can occur. Ours are designed to be very robust, but things do happen.
Yeah.
So if you see any type of cracks, things like that, obviously identify those and get those serviced as quickly as possible. Paintware, obviously these are made out of 7075 aluminum. So even if you do start, losing some of the paint or even the anodize off this product, it may get some surface rust, but it's still usable.
It's awesome. Zach, thank you so much for taking the time to go through that with us. Super beneficial. Guys, if you have any questions for us or for Zach, pop them in the comments section below and we'll get back to you. From everyone behind the team at Stoic, wherever you are in the world, stay safe. We'll catch you on the next one.